quietly erasing him through silent revenge. My name is Isabella, and if someone had told me years ago that I'd find myself in a situation like this, I would have laughed it off. Life, however, has a way of shocking you. I've known Marcus for as long as I can remember. We grew up together, literally. Our houses were right next door to each other, and we were inseparable from the time we were kids. We built forts, spent summers riding bikes, and, of course, navigated our teenage years together. We went to high school, then college, and then, when the time felt right, we got married. At first, it seemed like a fairy tale, a lifelong friendship that had blossomed into love. Marcus was always charming, always charismatic. He had that boyish smile that could melt anyone's heart, and everyone adored him. I was no different. But life, as I learned, wasn't always what it seemed. It was late November when I stumbled across the truth. I had no reason to suspect anything. Marcus had been his usual self. But then came that night. That night, when my whole world shifted. It started innocently enough. He left his phone on the counter, unlocked, and I saw a message pop up from someone I didn't recognize. Curiosity got the better of me, and I picked it up. What I found made my stomach drop. It wasn't just a casual text. No, it was far worse. It was an affair. And the worst part? The woman was someone I knew, someone who had been at family gatherings, someone who had smiled at me, pretended to be a friend. The betrayal was so deep, it felt like a knife in my chest. I spent hours staring at that screen, trying to comprehend what I had just uncovered. The woman wasn't a stranger. She was part of my life, part of my social circle, and Marcus had let her in. I confronted him that night. There were tears, anger, and disbelief. He apologized, of course. He claimed it was a mistake, a temporary lapse. He begged for my forgiveness, but I couldn't see beyond the hurt. The trust was shattered, and once something like that breaks, it's never truly the same. We took a break. I moved out, rented a small apartment, and kept my distance. The months dragged on, and Marcus tried to reconcile. He came to me, asking for another chance. He claimed he was sorry, that he loved me, that I was everything he ever wanted. I didn't believe a word of it, but for some reason, I said yes. I wasn't sure why. Maybe it was because he had been my best friend for so long, maybe it was because I wanted to believe in the fairy tale again. But this time, I wasn't naive. Little did Marcus know, I had already started my plan, my escape plan. Every month, I took $500 of the money he gave me for living expenses and set it aside. At first, he didn't notice. Why would he? After all, we were still living together, still playing happy couple for the world to see. But every month, that little stash grew. Eventually, it would be enough for me to leave, and leave I would, in a way he would never forget. But there was more. I didn't just want to leave him, I wanted him to feel the pain of losing me. I wanted him to understand that I wasn't someone who could be taken for granted. So I started working on myself, not just emotionally, but physically. I threw myself into fitness like never before. Every morning, I ran for miles. I lifted weights, toned my body, and focused on getting in the best shape of my life. It wasn't about revenge, at least not at first, it was about me taking control of my life again. I was reclaiming my power, my confidence, my self-worth. Still, I wanted something more. I needed a way to make Marcus feel the sting of betrayal, the way I had. I knew that he had always adored his father, and his father, in turn, had always been warm and kind to me. But like father, like son, I soon discovered. It turned out Marcus's father was no different than him. He had a secret, an affair that no one knew about, not even his wife. I couldn't help myself. I created a fake profile on Snapchat, using a name that seemed plausible enough. I added his father, and before I knew it, we were talking. At first, it was innocent, just casual conversation, a few compliments. But as the days went by, things took a turn. His father began to flirt with me, sending me suggestive messages, thinking I was someone new, someone exciting. I played my part perfectly, never letting on that I knew who he really was. As the weeks went by, I gathered screenshots, saving every conversation. My plan was coming together. When the time was right, I would send them to Marcus's mother. I would expose the man she thought she knew and loved. She had always taken his side, always brushed off my feelings when I complained about Marcus. But she would see. She would understand that Marcus's betrayal wasn't an isolated incident. It was a family trait. But that wasn't the only thing I had planned. I wanted to hit Marcus where it hurt most, his pride. And there was one thing he cherished above all else, his car. It had been his dream car for as long as I could remember. He'd worked hard for it, saved for years to buy it, and when he finally did, he treated it like a precious gem. The problem was, I had always been the one with better credit. When he bought it, we had put it under my name. He didn't think much of it at the time, but now it was my leverage. I arranged to have the car sold. I didn't just sell it, I had it shipped across the country to California, far away from where Marcus could ever hope to retrieve it. The process was already in motion. I had made sure that it would be gone by the time Marcus came back from his trip. And as for the rest of the house? Well, that was where my ultimate revenge would play out. In December, the same week Marcus was scheduled to go away on a business trip, I signed a contract to leave my apartment. I had already secured a new place, far from the life I had shared with him. But before I left, I made sure to take the final steps. I called the rental office and had the locks changed. I arranged for all of Marcus's belongings to be taken out and thrown away. His clothes, his things, everything that once belonged to him would be gone, discarded as if they had never existed. By the time Marcus returned, he would find an empty house. No wife. No belongings. No car. Nothing but the remnants of a life he had taken for granted. When the day came, I was already gone. I had left behind a few things, just enough for him to realize what had happened. When he walked through the door, expecting to find me waiting for him, he would be faced with a reality he wasn't prepared for. His things were gone, his car was gone, and I was gone. He would be left with nothing but the cold emptiness of his own actions. But the final blow was yet to come. A week later, I sent Marcus's mother the screenshots. The truth hit her like a ton of bricks. She couldn't deny it. She couldn't explain it away. Her husband, the man she had been married to for decades, had been unfaithful. And Marcus, her son, had followed in his footsteps. It was the final act of my revenge. But it didn't end there. Marcus tried to reach out to me, he called, he texted, he even begged. But I didn't respond. He didn't deserve a second chance. He had chosen someone else, and now I had chosen myself. I had planned this for months, and now, it was over. I had reclaimed my life, my dignity, and my peace of mind. Marcus would never forget the lesson he had learned the hard way. And I would never let anyone, especially him, take me for granted again. Revenge, they say, is a dish best served cold. But for me, it was sweeter than I could have ever imagined.
I get wanting revenge, but playing with his family like that might cause more harm than good. Be careful.
This is toxic. You're just as bad as he is. Focus on healing, not dragging everyone else down with you.
Karma's got a funny way of working, but this is next level. Hope it gives you the peace you're looking for.